Well, now we're doing section 4.1, question 25. And we have to find the absolute maximum, the absolute minimum. We also have to draw the graph. And notice the domain for this, what they've given us, is going to be, they've restricted it to negative 0.5 from 0.5 to 2. Well, I wrote 0.5 as 1/2. You can do it in terms of a decimal, or you can do it in terms of a fraction. So let's evaluate the endpoints. And so f of 1/2 equals negative 1 over, and if I put a 1/2 in here, and if I square it, it's going to become 1/4. Then, as you well know, when we invert and multiply, we'll wind up with negative 4. Let's evaluate f of 2. And that's going to be negative 1 over, and when you square 2, you get 4. So f of 1/2 equals negative 4. F of 2 equals negative 1/4. So now let's graph it. And here we are at x equals 1/2, and we get negative 4. So 1/2, negative 4, and now we'll go to f of 2, and we get a negative 1/4. So that's going to be 2, negative 1/4. And now this is a curve and looks like that. So there's our ordered pairs, there's the graph. And our absolute ABS min is negative 4. Y equals negative 4. It occurs at x equals 1/2. Our absolute ABS max is y equals negative 1/4, and it occurs at x equals 2, and we're done. Now we have to find the critical points for question 47. That means we're going to take a derivative, set it equal to 0, and see what we get. So let's take the derivative, and we'll use the product rule. So f of x equals, and we'll hold x constant, and now we'll take the derivative of what remains, and so we'll bring the 3 down, and then we have 4 minus x, and put a squared there. Then we go inside by the chain rule and take the derivative of 4 minus x, which is negative 1. Now a plus, and now we'll hold this quantity constant, that factor, and take the derivative of x, which is just 1. So we just get 1 times 4 minus x cubed. And now, by the way, this is f prime of x, I beg your pardon. And so this equals, well, if I take that negative and multiply it times 3, I'll have negative 3x times the quantity 4 minus x squared plus 4 minus x, this quantity. And by the way, that quantity is squared. The x isn't squared. Excuse me. That's 4 minus x quantity cubed. Okay, now we can factor a 4 minus x squared out of each term. So we get 4 minus x, that quantity squared, times, and we still have a factor of minus 3x remaining. And if we factored 4 minus x quantity squared out of here, so we still have plus one more factor of 4 minus x remaining. Now let's simplify that, and we get 4 minus x quantity squared and times, and let's see 4, and adding up the x's we get minus 4x. And just for the heck of it, make our life simpler, I'm going to factor a 4 out of each of these two terms. So we get 4 times 4 minus x quantity squared times x, times, factoring 4 out, 1 minus x. So the critical points are x equals, and what will take this to 0, 4, and what will take that to 0, 1. So there's our critical points right there. And we're done.